We are live.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Hello.
Hi.
I don't know if anyone is able to be here. No one really gave us the indication that they would be, but I bet people are watching this back. So hello if you're
Hi.
watching this back. We are here for the third live show in the Divergent series for the Throwback Book Club. I am here. I am Lizzie. You are.
Danielle
Hello.
from Danielle Reads.
Yes. We are here to discuss Allegiant and for the novella collection in the Divergent series. So,
And we think the vibes are going to be very low key.
yes,
Because
low key.
I've messed up the last few months where I'm reading them too early the month before. Because now I'm not remembering anything that happened. Which is also like, and I don't really have that bad of retention problems, but for some reason with some of these books, I do.
Yeah, I finished Allegiant yesterday and for about half an hour ago, but I did do them both on audio for the most part, and I've been in a bit of a reading slump, and I just feel like Allegiant took me so long to read, and I just don't have a lot of thoughts, but we're doing our best.
Can you remind me? It was a reread for me of all of these.
4 was the only one I had not read before.
Okay.
I know I read Allegiant when it came out because I have distinct memories of waiting for that book and then it coming out, and I was so mad at the ending. I threw the book across the room. I was so mad at age, I don't know, 13, 12. So whenever this came out.
This is also like an interesting kind of transition period for the club now. We haven't solidified everything yet, but we're not going to quite need to do. I think doing a live show after every book is like a little redundant.
Yeah.
For some of it.
Well, we're just going to play it by ear and vibes based what feels like it makes sense live show wise and for our reading pace. Cheyenne is here. Hello.
Hello, Cheyenne. We love Cheyenne.
We do. I realized I didn't read the 4 comments in the chat, so that's exciting. I'm going to do that really quick right now. Well, I'm not going to sit here and read them while we're here live together, but
yeah, I just pulled up because I wanted to review some of my reviews too.
Shall we start with Allegiant?
Yes. What did you give it?
I'm thinking, I mean, I only finished it yesterday. My gut reaction was 2.5, but I think it's a 3.
Oof.
And part of that is maybe that, like, I've been in a slump. I haven't been enjoying reading. I started it with my eyeballs, and then I end up listening to the majority of it. And I didn't really like the audiobook, but I was just kind of getting through it. So, like, it's not entirely the book's fault, but also I did not like, I mean, I don't know if we want to get straight into spoilers and the ending right away.
If you're here, I feel like you are ready for it, but we can come back. I'll give my little rating first. Yeah, here's your warning. After this, we're going to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I am actually giving it a pretty solid 4.
Okay.
Part of that has to do with the ending, which we'll discuss. But I also just liked it a little bit more than Insurgent, so I definitely wanted to rate it just a little bit more.
I liked it way less than Insurgent.
Interesting. I'm reading my notes right now to try and refresh. But I did feel like what was Beyond the Wall was a little dragged out. But I did like some of the reveals that we got of information.
Okay.
Like finding out more about the experiment, stuff like that was interesting. I could not believe, though, with Triss and 4, how much this book had them like breaking up and fighting.
I know.
And it was just Go ahead.
I was going to say, and then we read, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but then we read 4 and it's just like a love
Loving
letter
it.
to that relationship, and I was like, come on, this relationship sucks.
But I was
whatever.
just like so surprised because I was like, are we supposed to care about them
Are we
breaking up
supposed to
and getting
root
back
for
together?
them?
Because nothing of their relationship has been, there's never been a good time in their relationship where I'm
Yeah.
like, they clearly felt some sort of chemistry for each other, but there was never a time where I was like, yeah, this is the couple I'm rooting for. They were almost always at odds.
Yeah.
Basically the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we're safe to get warning, we're going to get into official
Yeah. Cheyenne,
end
if
of.
you, I don't even know, did Cheyenne read these with us? Oh, here we are.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Cheyenne reread them with us.
Okay.
I remember hearing a lot of controversy about the ending of Allegiant before I read it. Remember loving it because it felt like something different.
I put in here, I love the boldness of killing off a main character. It's always one of my favorite choices, especially in this one to make it like the main character. I just love that choice. But I thought it was crazy to do the fake out with like her pushing through the serum and then still getting shot. I was like, damn, that hurt.
I liked that part of the ending. I liked that they killed Triss. That's the part that made me so mad when I was younger because I was like 12 and I was like, no, you can't kill my favorite character, But that's an impression of 12-year-old me that I just did. I hope you enjoyed it.
I feel like I was back there with you.
Yeah, really believable. I enjoyed that choice. For the reasons you said, I liked that it was bold. I liked that it wasn't the way that it was expected with the fake out. What I did not like about the ending was how everything else wrapped up. Like, I didn't like that they wiped the memories of everyone in the compound. I felt like that was like sort of a cop-out solution that didn't feel satisfying to me. Like, the whole ending just felt like, with how the politics wrapped up, felt supremely dissatisfying to me.
I liked the whole moral debate about like erasing the city's memories.
Yeah, but I don't think that they landed at anywhere that felt satisfying thematically. Like, I think they had this discussion that they set up, and there was this like dilemma about like, are we, if we're erasing their memories to stop them erasing other people's memories, are we? And then it just like never went anywhere because they just did it.
I don't really remember that part, so I'm gonna take. It's fresher for you, so I probably would have been more annoyed at the moment too. I think I was more distracted by Tobias going to his mom and being like, "I chose you, mommy. I think you can change."
I also was like, that was what?
Distracted me from everything else.
I feel like I was a little bit rolling my eyes at that just because I don't like Tobias as a character at all. And I was like, I don't care about your internal struggle. Again, I was not enjoying reading. Just like in general.
Yeah.
Been in slump. So if I'm unnecessarily harsh, that is probably why. But
I didn't get a chance to watch many interviews with Veronica Roth because I kind of forgot I was going to do that before the meeting. But I did manage to watch a couple. And what I found was really interesting was she always planned, like from the first book, she wanted Triss to die. And I did notice a lot of hinting at that in the previous books.
I think it is an interesting culmination of her character arc of the like brave versus selfless thing that she's been dealing with this whole series. To have her like have the realization of like, when is it actually a selfless act to sacrifice yourself? And when is it actually a selfish act? Based on the reasons that you're doing it. I thought that discussion was interesting, and I think it was an interesting, like I said, culmination to her character arc. So I did like that part of the ending.
I'm looking back at some of my notes while we're chatting as well, and I did like that Insurgent did the same thing where the problems that you and I kind of had about the logic of this city and like why it's functioning the way it is was kind of like not clearer until Insurgent.
Yeah.
I did like that this one went as far as to be like, okay, we messed with these people's genes. That's why they're
Yes, because
different. I was like, more of an answer.
I was so disbelieving of the like having
Yeah.
multiple personality traits as a genetic abnormality, and so like that did help that.
It made more sense to me that I was like, okay, so these are people that have been altered to be like this.
So like
It did make a little more sense to why.
It's not just having that premise for the sake of that premise, if that makes sense.
I thought it was interesting that like the reason they did it though is they wanted to find find people who could grow past those gene abnormalities. And I think it is so interesting that like in the city, those that don't know what's really going on, it was a fun dichotomy to me. Like they hate Divergence for this reason, but really they want them. I thought it was fun enough.
Yeah. And I don't know if this theme was like explored in as much depth as it could have been, but the theme of like basically eugenics, of like genetically damaged, genetically pure.
When Tobias finds out he's not Divergent.
Yeah.
That was interesting. And that whole, I'm agreeing with what you're saying, like the way it made those people feel to find that out.
Yeah. I'm maybe judging it too harshly, but I just didn't really have a good time. And I do think that like the wrap up was not satisfying.
One thing that did start making me frustrated was this idea that you're telling me Triss, who confirmed 16 in this book, you're telling me she's the only person to have started questioning what the agenda is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, you're telling me not a single other person in these communities are questioning things.
Yeah, it does.
I guess she was brave to do something, but
it places her, the whole series really places her on a little bit of a pedestal of like, not quite like chosen one, but like kind of similar energy of like she's so strong and brave and powerful and smart and perceptive and all of the things. So,
which ties into, if we want to start talking about 4 a little bit.
Yeah.
I was shocked at the little interview author's note at the beginning saying that Tobias was her original perspective for these books.
That is very surprising to me because he's so boring.
I'm interested. Do you have anything to say about Allegiant specifically?
I think we can just mash them together. Like, that's fine.
I will say, I thought Memories from the Past, and I wonder if the movie's going to do it different, but I thought people got mad because Christina and 4 end up together, but I didn't get that vibe.
No.
I know, I thought they just ended as friends. But I've seen a lot of people that have been like, you're telling me. So I wonder if the movie will be different. I'll be interested to see. I did not watch the Allegiant movie.
I have not watched
that. So it'll be
something.
An interesting discussion because it's an unfinished movie too. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. But 4, what did you think of the collection?
Like 2.5, 3 also, but sort of for different reasons. I said this in the chat, I am just not really interested in that type of story. Like, I feel like in order for me to be in it and enjoy it and be invested in it, I either need to care about the character. I need one of the 3. Care about the character, care about the plot, care about the themes. And I do not care about for the character. I don't think we got any, like, plot-wise, it's all stuff we knew happened pretty much. Like, there were a couple details, but like, I feel like it was all stuff that had been referenced before. Like, we knew this stuff happened. And we didn't really get any bigger exploration of the themes. So I just was like, why does this exist?
I want to read Cheyenne's comment and then I'll go on to mine.
Yeah, I think the trap of a lot of YA books is figuring out how to make a teenager have such a prominent role in these books. It kind of makes sense makes everyone else seem dumb in comparison. Yeah. Whereas like in the Hunger Games, like she is placed at the center of that story for a reason by the adults and the governmental powers, right? Like she is used as a pawn because she is
Yeah.
I just feel like it makes more sense.
I agree. Because I'm even thinking, honestly, we were just yapping a little bit about the selection before this.
Oh, yeah.
Even that, I'm like, her age makes more sense. Like, this story, it just doesn't. I wish maybe they were like 21 when they maybe switched out or something. Like, I don't know. It just makes it really.
Yeah.
Not believable enough, I guess. But, okay. I actually surprisingly really enjoyed it, and I didn't know it would, and I gave it a 4.5.
That's crazy.
I don't know what was going on, but I was eating it up.
Yeah.
I didn't find it. I thought it was going to be very repetitive. Like, I've read so many books where it's genuinely the same scene repeated from their perspective. And we got like a couple little chapters at the end of my copy. I don't know if yours had like
I had the little
and a couple. Yeah. But the rest of them I was kind of like, they at least were different story. Like, we didn't see his life.
We didn't see these events happen.
So I was like more on board. And just looking at some of my notes while I think about it, I was surprised by how much it made me like 4, actually. And one of my notes on one of them is, I think we should have gotten dual perspectives. I don't always feel like you need to have a dual perspective, but I think her perspective of 4, as far as I read it, he just seemed like Mr. Popular, good at everything he did, condescending ass. Yeah. And I feel like his actual perspective gave, though, lonely, abused kid a lot better. Like, I just felt like I was much more believable of his feelings. And he didn't seem like this popular guy that knew everything. He felt like a very concerned kid who didn't know what to do.
I think what would have been better than having this collection is if it had been dual perspective the whole time. And also I think that she should have either, she being Veronica Roth, should have either done dual perspective the whole series or not switched to forced perspective until after Tris died. I think that was another issue with this, with Allegiant, was that like we suddenly have this new perspective introduced for seemingly no reason. Like, I guess I had remembered it differently, that I had thought that 4 only became a perspective character after Tris died, and I think that would have been a bolder choice.
I think you had a similar thought for Breaking Dawn as well, because you did not want Jacob's perspective throughout that one either. But I am team the entire series should have been dual perspective, and or giving us some of his, even like give us like a 4 chapter every 4 Tris chapters or something. Like, just a little. I just felt like his intentions completely rubbed me the wrong way throughout Allegiant. I could more be like one of my notes, I was like, oh yeah, he's probably not a good boyfriend because he is like an extremely traumatized individual whose mother abandoned him and father abused. Like, it's not like he's like emotionally capable for this big relationship. So I was a little more like, okay, I see what she was doing with this collection. I think it was a little too late for the rest of the books.
I just don't think it was like, I never think books like this are necessary. And
like, when you were reading it though, like the first time when you were younger, do you think you would have, like, right now it feels so unnecessary, like we don't need it. But when you were younger and reading it, I feel like I would have liked those chapters in the book.
I think they work better in the book than separate. Because separate, they feel unnecessary.
Even like, in general, I wish she would have stuck with writing the book from his perspective. Like, I just wish she would have stuck with that. I think as much as he drove me nuts, he just read more realistically than Tris to me. I don't know. I just didn't, as much as I love this book, Tris is not a character that I'm like, I love this character. I am a Tris stan account.
I think if we had read the whole series from Tobias's perspective, it would have been a very different series.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So it's hard to know if it would have been better, but I think it would have been very different.
So I'm like, at least like I was just surprised by how much I liked getting his perspective. For a character that I hated so much, it was a little humbling to remember why he doesn't have these skills that I'm lucky enough to notice and have. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can't communicate. All right, that kind of makes more sense now. But so what would you give the series overall?
Series overall. Well, trying to remember what I gave the other books.
Now I got to go back and look.
Yeah. Insurgent was my favorite, which is a surprise to me. Would have been a surprise to me prior to okay. Divergent 3.5, Insurgent 4, Allegiant. I'm gonna say Allegiant 2, Allegiant 3, 4, 2.5.
Okay.
So overall, I would say it's a 3.5-star series.
You know what? That's exact, because I have given Allegiant like a 4. Insurgent was like a 3.54, and Divergent was a 3. So I didn't feel comfortable. Okay, thank you, Charmin. I didn't feel comfortable giving it a 4, but a 3.5 feels right.
I do think it was better than I was expecting it to be. Because I really went into this expecting it to be trash.
I was really interested to see how I would enjoy the death in Allegiant this time, because like I said, like back in the day, it was bold to do back in the day. I can't think of many, especially YAs, that were making that decision. And obviously it was so talked about, it was so controversial.
Yeah.
But I don't remember how I felt about it, unfortunately. But now that I'm older and I do love that kind of twist, I was into it.
Yeah.
It's like she did a really good job with like the overarching story, and her writing was engaging enough, but I personally just felt like all the details got lost.
Yeah.
In it. It felt like she was saying, when I was listening to her talk about it, like she was saying she didn't know what to do with Caleb's character until she started writing book 2. So, and I feel like I don't feel like this was a series where she plotted and knew what she wanted to do before. And I think that did a bit of a disservice. I mean, Twilight does the same thing. She didn't really have a plan. She was just writing. And I just think you can tell the caliber of how well those stories are compared to someone who sits and knows what they want their characters to be like.
Yeah, I agree. Cheyenne says, do you have any other Veronica Roth books you're interested in? Want to try one of her adult books at some point, because I do think her writing was solid. I would be open to it. I'm going to look up what other books she has, because
She has a really popular new series. I have read the When Among Crows. That new duology is like really popular. The sequels to Clutch a Razor. That's like new releasing, super popular. And I read the Chosen Ones, which was like her superhero adult novel. And I gave that a 4. I liked that one well enough. But that was a couple years ago, but I did like that one. I think we lightly discussed, there was no decisions made, but we lightly talked about it would be cool to read some of our YA authors' new books for the club. And if we did, I think that Veronica Roth, I think they're like novella duology or something. Those little, I think those would be interesting. Or like the new John Green would be so cool.
Yeah.
But, so yes, I am interested in her other books.
I would be open to it, but I'm not like desperate to read.
I'm just hoping they're crafted a little bit more intentionally, which I feel like just in general, I would hope that her craft would have grown as she gets older. Sure. So. I have not like written her off though, the way that honestly I love Twilight, but I've probably written Stephanie Meyer off. I'm not really anything else from that woman.
Yeah. Well,
Carmen's crying at me. Oh
no.
I think that's all I have for these ones, though.
I'm
glad we read it.
I'm glad we read it too. And up next, if we want to talk about that, there's no book for April, which I think we've already said various places. We've kind of decided we can take a month break between each series we do. We may not like exclusively do that, but
I just feel like the transition from one series to the next has been a little chaotic.
Yeah.
Of like jumping right in
to have that break. And then in May
now we
and
can
June,
schedule. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but now we can schedule the Allegiant watch along.
Yes,
I will start
doing
that in the chat. Movie. But
so keep an eye out in the chat. But in May and June, we are doing part 3 of Sarah Dessen's summer. This is our 3rd summer with the Throwback Book Club. And every summer in May and June, we've done a collection of Sarah Dessen books. And this time, she has a new book. I need to look.
Okay, I gotta let he's yelling at me.
She has a new book coming out on May 5th called Change of Plans. So read that if you can get a hold of it. So first book, Change of Plans, and then we're doing 2 of her backlist. We are doing Someone Like You and Lock and Key. So
recommended by Miss Bailey.
So Someone Like You is her second book. So it was an early one. Lock and Key is sort of in the middle between Just Listen and Along for the Ride. And then Change of Plans is her new one. So I'm very excited. We probably will do one live show at the end of June or beginning of July for all 3.
I think for those 3, perfect. Because we can just do about 20-30 minutes each.
Perfect. Yeah.
And so I will try and actually get graphics up this time. I'm trying to get better at doing those reminders.
Mm-hmm.
Just sometimes you don't have the Canva bug and sometimes you do. It just depends.
It's all good. So yeah, that's our next up plan. And since these are standalones, if you don't want to read all 3, you don't have to read all 3. Like you can just pick whichever one you're interested in. And
I'm so interested to read her new
one. I'm locked in because we have had very much success with our Sarah Dessen summers in the past. So
those have been like some of the best meetings.
Yeah.
So like just like in terms of books to discuss that we loved.
Yeah. So that's the plan.
Except I think the wedding one. I think we hated that one.
Oh yeah. No, I did not like the wedding one. That's okay.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. And thanks, Cheyenne, for joining us live. And thanks to anyone who watched this back. Comment down below if you're here. And
like this video for Lizzie. Please like it.
Subscribe to Danielle. She should be linked in the description if you're not already. And yeah, that's it.
So good. I'm glad we read this one.
Me too.
I don't think anything can top. I feel bad that everything gets compared to Hunger Games, but God, it's so good.
It is really good.
It's just so good. None of these have made me feel that way long term.
No.
Except the reread of John Green. I stand by that experience. That was fun as hell.
Yeah. Okay.
Goodbye. Bye.